Alright, and we are off. So, starting off with Prologue, you're not quite given your dash just yet. So, they're going to be utilizing their jump feature, and each jump does save about 2 frames. So, they're going to be jumping as much as possible and staying as low to the ground as possible, just to get as many jumps off as possible. Until right off the end here, they are finally given to their dash, and that is where the real game will begin. Alright, so going into City, just straight off the bat, they're going to be utilizing these dashes. Like I said, they have supers, they have their ultras. Both of those are faster than just walking on the ground and dashing just on the ground. Kaizen having a little bit of an issue just starting off there. Does manage to get through, though. Seems like Dave taking an early lead here, just slightly, both on the same room. Nothing too far just yet. Both going to be utilizing a reverse wave dash there. Dave not quite making it work. It will keep your extended jump after you jump off the ground, so they're going to be keeping that dash usually. City, very basic beginning of the game. It's nothing too crazy that they're going to be doing, nothing in their way that they need to avoid, so just standard platforming. They are going to be utilizing this spike jump coming up here pretty soon on Kaizen's screen and Davesterio's as well. They're going to be landing just above the spike to get this jump off. And then they're going to be utilizing these neutral jumps on this left side wall just to skip a little bit of this section. Does save about 2 seconds. Kaizen actually opting for the slightly slower strat. No problem at all. Just puts him behind just a little. And already, like I said, Davesterio with that crash. Unfortunate. That is something that's unfortunate with the Switch version of this game. Sometimes it just crashes. You got to deal with it. It's in-game time, so it's not a big deal. Alright, Kaizen entering in on this old site. He's going to be utilizing these dream blocks. You can dash into them once they're activated, and that will allow you to travel through them, but you do not want to travel into a wall because that will kill you. Making first use of one of the only glitches in this game where if you skip a cutscene, it only resets one of your x-axes, so you can actually stay inside that dream block, and that will keep you a little higher, just as a little bit of an advantage. Alright, Kaizen entering with Battleline. First introduction of Battleline. She is basically your evil self that does not want you to climb this mountain. She stays on a 3-second pattern behind you, mirroring your every room. But it's not going to be too much of a challenge for these runners because they are usually going through these rooms faster than 3 seconds anyways, so Battleline not really going to be able to keep up with them. Kaizen taking an unfortunate death there, not too much time lost. These next 2 rooms, they are very long, so death here could be extremely costly for both of these runners. Kaizen taking a short little death there does give Davesterio some edge on his run. Alright, this is probably the most costly of all of Old Site. It is a very long room where you have to collect all these key blocks to open up this bottom portion right here. It'll open up and you can run right through. Good stuff to Kaizen, making it through that room very easily. And Davesterio also not taking a death in that room. Very nice. So Dave did take an early crash there. Hopefully he does not encounter it again. But It is in-game time, like I said, so he is technically still ahead, even though Kaizen has that bit of an edge on him on the stream. So Awake, just utilizing those dashes, nothing to really block you. It's not really easy to die at this portion. It's just utilizing your dashes through these obstacles, getting through them as precisely as you can, just not taking as much time loss as possible. So Kaizen finishing up Old Site at 2:31, while Davesterio is finishing it up at 1:56. A very good time by Dave. So Dave is actually ahead. Alright, gonna be entering on Resort. More of a pattern based with these dust bunnies. They are on a pattern based on when you enter the room. So each runner does need to enter each room accordingly and with a perfect plan to get through these dust bunnies. Kaizen taking it nice and slow as well as Dave, just easing into that room. Very hard room to get used to when you are beginning to learn this. Both runners got the key and opening up the locked door to access the rest of the hotel. And a reminder, Dave is technically ahead because he did get that crash early on. Alright. And Dave taking that lead on that real time as well. Good stuff to Dave. Misses a key. That's... Oh, and taking that death. Very unfortunate by Dave. Kaizen going back down, getting to this key. Another key, gonna be opening up the rest of Resort as well. And this is pretty much the first introduction of Oshiro. He is the owner of the hotel. Spoiler alert, he is a ghost, so don't let that fool you. He will try and tell you that he's not. But big mess, nothing really out of the ordinary, just making your way through all of these books and shelves and pointless junk that I don't know why he has here, but Kaizen making it through really fast and onto these first blocks. And these first blocks coming up pretty soon on Kaizen's screen. That is the key goal. You are removing everything from the big mess. Spike jump on Kaizen, forgot to mention that, by the way. He is going to press down on this switch that will lighten the load in this big mess room. As you see, it's a little lighter, still kind of messy, but that's basically what we're trying to do. We're trying to clean up the room so we can get the key in the center and continue on our way. Dave also trailing right behind Kaizen, really close to him in real time. Alright, Kaizen getting down that second switch. And this third switch is a big challenge to people usually learning this run. The third switch is... it has a lot of cycles that you have to get used to. So you have to get used to all these cycles. And, ooh, Kaizen taking that unfortunate death. Didn't jump as high as he want. And that corner does stop his dash. Once again, he's having a lot of trouble with this room. As well as Davesterio, taking a death here as well. Alright, Kaizen making it through that last room and getting that switch as well as Dave. Good stuff to both the runners. Alright, so now that big mess is opened up. It is all clear and they are free to grab that key and go on to the top left of the resort where they will soon face Oshiro. And basically the story behind that is Battleline, who you met last chapter, did make Oshiro mad, so like all hotels owners who get a bad review, they want to kill the person. Standard stuff. Dave having a bit of an issue trying to get up there. It is one of the longer rooms that you don't want to die in. Tried to manage to get a save out of that, but not quite getting it. Kaizen entering this room full of supers. You want to time these supers so you can get past these blocks, and he does manage to get through that room very well. Dave kind of struggling with that room, does finally manage to get out of it. Kaizen does manage to make it out of the final room and onto Oshiro. So Oshiro is based on a timer. He will dash towards you, and it is your job to avoid him, or you will take a death. You can jump on his head, and that will refresh your dash as well. Even though Dave does seem to be a bit behind, I do believe that he is still actually ahead of Kaizen in time. Oshiro consists of a lot of long rooms that you don't really want to die in. Unfortunate for Kaizen, that's my fault. But a death here is usually very costly for both runners, and so you don't want to die usually. You want to try and get through these rooms as best as you possible. Kaizen entering in on this final room pretty soon here, which is undoubtedly the longest room of Oshiro's section. Having a bit of a struggle with this second room. Does manage to make it. Good stuff to him. Kaizen taking an unfortunate death here. That does put Davesterio back in the lead for real time. Now, an unfortunate death, just trading back and forth on this final room. Taking a death here is very costly for both runners. Kaizen just playing it safe, sitting there, making sure he gets through easily, and does manage to get out of Resort with a solid 620. And so does Dave. 616, so slightly better than Kaizen, but both pretty much matched. Alright, going to be entering Ridge here, where it's going to be introducing some clouds that you can jump off, gives you a higher jump basically, and these bubbles which will take you a short distance and refresh your dash. As well as wind coming up here pretty soon, just pushing our Kaizen and Davesterio to the left, gonna make it challenging. Want to be able to use those dashes as they can counteract that wind. Alright, Kaizen going to be entering this above section, which you will be using just mashing your jump button. Doesn't really need to be neutral jumps. That wind does push you into the wall, so you can just keep jumping. It doesn't matter if you run out of stamina. Dave having a bit of an issue with this spike jump, and does finally manage to get it. Also does have these moving blocks, which you do need to activate to get through most of this platforming. It is only activated once you grab it or you stand on top of it. Kaizen, good half cutscene skip. Good stuff to him. Davesterio not quite getting the trick that he was mentioning earlier. He did want to pull off an ultra there. See if he tries to go for it again. Doesn't quite go for it. Does opt for the half cutscene skip, and does manage to get it very fast. Alright, Kaizen going to be entering this room full of moving blocks, but you can just use this cloud and a simple dash to just kind of get past all of it. Very easy. Another cutscene here. You can skip. Oh, taking an unfortunate death. This room, you can skip getting this push block, although it does require, I believe, 2 spike jumps, which very hard. Both runners back into the same room. And this is the first portion where there's going to be a lot of wind. Heavy wind, going to make it very hard for them to platform through here. Kaizen does manage to make it very quickly. Davesterio taking a very fast death, not too costly on his side. Oh, but another one, that's going to be a bit more time. Kaizen does decide to go for behind the push block. You can make it ahead if you are fast enough, but just good stuff to him recognizing that he was not fast enough. He was not going to make that. I actually missed if Davesterio was in front. Ooh, that snowball nailing Kaizen in the face. Snowball's going to be a real challenge for these guys. Jumping on them is kind of like Oshiro. You do get your dash back from jumping on them, but it can be really hard to jump on them with how fast they're moving and the fact that they are coming from the side that you are traveling. Alright, Davesterio back taking that lead on real time. Alright, he is going to be first to leave Ridge. And Kaizen taking up that berry. Good stuff to both runners. Really good time by both of them. I think it was a 3:59 for Dave as well as a 4:15 for Kaizen. Very nice times. So Mirror Temple, you are going to be getting this introduction of Seekers as well as these red bubbles that travel infinite. Just like the blue bubbles, except they are going to go forever until you dash out of it or you jump into a wall. And these sort of like push blocks, except they are activated by you dashing. Bit of a skip here does allow you to avoid taking the left route. Nice, clean Ultra will get you through this room. And they do get it really fast. Good stuff to both runners. So we're going to be finding Theo trapped into sort of a mirror. It's Mirror Temple, so you got to include mirrors, right? But basically, we need to figure out how to get into the mirror and save Theo from this temple, and that is our job for this room. Alright, Davesterio doing that first intended skip that the developers made. Does get you a heart, but we are any percent, so we are just going to use it for the skip and not to get any bonus items. Davesterio closing in on that mirror. We're going to be going inside of this mirror, and that will be when Seekers are introduced. They are introduced by you controlling the Seeker at first. Just kind of a tutorial that Seekers are bad. You do not want them to touch you or you will die. Alright, very fast by Davesterio. Ooh, just misses Madeline, just barely, but does manage to get it through it very fast, and going to be entering this unraveling chapter. Going to be some quick cutscene skips for this battle line talk. So we don't want to talk to her, actually. Alright, Davesterio coming up on these Seekers pretty soon here. And you can use the Seekers to push these key blocks for you coming up, because they are technically a part of you. That storyline. So far, both the runners having a really good unraveling. Ooh, Kaizen just barely missing that Seeker. Gonna be using that Seeker down there to open up that passageway as well as get the key block. That's gonna help him out later on. Ooh, just gets caught out by that. Very unfortunate by Dave. Kaizen also taking a Seeker death, so that's gonna help Dave out a little bit. Alright, going to be entering Search. Another developer skip coming up here. Does save about 2 or 3 minutes just to avoid getting these keys, opening up a key block on the right and taking this red bubble to all the way to the left. You can just do a reverse super all the way through that spike room, and that will open up this entire section over to you. On to Kaizen. Can he get it as well? He does manage to get it. Very good stuff. Dave coming up on Theo. He is going to be in a crystal ball that you do need to carry him all the way through until the end of the game. You cannot dash while you're carrying Theo though, so you do need to make utilize of throwing him as well as catching him to get these cheeky dashes out. Alright, both on Theo section. At first, it is really hard to get used to this Theo section. It's a very interesting movement mechanic that's not really used throughout the rest of the game. Davesterio taking an unfortunate death there. Does even up both runners on real time. Again, another reminder, Davesterio did take an early crash as he is playing on Switch, so that he is technically ahead of Kaizen. Just because this game is more reliant on in-game time than it is real time. As you can see, Theo can also collect the key blocks, so that's going to be very important for later on. Ooh, Davesterio does crush Theo. That's going to kill him immediately. Can't progress in the game without Theo. And that's going to put Kaizen in the lead on real time. Dave kind of taking a faster route, so he is going to save some time on Kaizen. Now, this last room, energy waves are going to be pushed at you from the right side, so you do want to dash after the waves touch you. If you dash before them, they will cancel out your dash. And closing out that chapter, solid stuff by Kaizen and Davesterio. Even though this race is close, Davesterio is technically still ahead by about a minute or so, but it is always nice to have a close race. Going to be entering this reflection, which is the introduction of feathers. Most runners are going to be using analog. Sorry, keyboard users, but analog does give you more options for movement with these. Kaizen not opting for Lake Skip. Lake Skip does save about 3 or 4 seconds on here, as well as Dave, so nobody really getting the edge on that room immediately. And we do have these crush blocks, although we like to call them Kevin blocks, just because Kevin is a really cool guy. You should check him out. He's part of Sound. I cannot remember the name right now. Alright, entering this big room, but you are supposed to power up audio. Thank you, Richard. You are supposed to use a feather for that big room, but some well-timed neutral jumps does make it possible to just skip that entire room entirely. Using these Kevin blocks just to get through these rooms as intended. Good stuff to both of them. Kaizen not getting that extended dash that he wanted. Gonna be taking an unfortunate couple of deaths here. Both runners neck and neck again. The cool thing about Reflection, it does allow you to more options as well as paths. It does give you some more places to go, but usually everybody's just going to be going the same path. On the last part here, though, that Kaizen's coming up here pretty soon, it does give you an option of up or down, and most people will go... Oh, sorry, the next one after this one. Most people will opt to go down, as it is safer, but a few crazy people will go up, as it is faster, but way more dangerous. Just dashing under the spikes. Kaizen does... He goes for a little bit of a goof. He does act like he's going to go to that top side, but does fall down to the bottom. Alright, utilizing these feathers to get past these bumper blocks. They are, just as their name would tell you, they do bump you, and they are not usually really good to use. Davesterio and Kaizen coming up on this last room. It is a very long room. A death is really unfortunate here. It does waste a lot of time if you do die, so some players will opt to get the checkpoint after these intended skips here, just as Davesterio is doing, playing it safe. And he is rewarded for playing it safe, as he did collect that checkpoint, but that does still put Kaizen in the lead in real time. Alright, after this water section, we're going to have a long ride with Kevin, and that will enter in this battle line fight, where we are actually chasing battle line instead of us being chased by battle line. A lot of people like the hey so if we can get some of that. Davesterio going for that battle line boost. Very dangerous on the switch. You can crash the game if you do not get that correctly, so he's a bit of a risk taker. And hey because it is the best song in the game, hands down. Battle line is going to be shooting some orbs at you, as well as shooting lasers at you. It is not random. This game has no RNG whatsoever, so you can time everything. Alright, Davesterio holding that solid battle line fight so far. No mistakes yet. Kaizen doing a really good job staying real close to Dave. Good stuff to him. He's having a great race so far. Ooh, Davesterio finally taking that death. Alright, Davesterio coming up on this second version of battle line fight pretty soon here, where she will be utilizing blocks faster, and they will be more dangerous than before. I believe after this room, Dave's on. No, sorry, it's the one after this one that he's entering right now. Alright, another long room would be a bit of a pain if you did die here. It's what you're trying to avoid. A bit of a little bit of a cutscene, just trying to go through as fast as possible to skip the text, dialogue, then one cutscene skip, and we are on the second phase of the battle line fight. Alright, just utilizing these moving blocks. Most runners have them memorized at this point, so they know exactly where they will be. So they built this... Ooh, an unfortunate death by Davesterio. That's going to be some time loss for him. And another one. Very unfortunate. Kaizen a little bit caught up on this other room here, so that's going to be a little bit of relief for Dave. Having a real struggle with this room right here. Is giving Kaizen good solid amount of time to come back on this. Alright, gonna be using that moving block to push him all the way to battle line, get that hit in. Entering the last room, very long room. A death here is very unfortunate. You do not want to get a death on this last room as it is very long. Alright, and does manage to avoid that death. Good stuff to Dave. A very solid reflection for him. Probably not as solid as he would hope. I'm sure that he is looking for those sub 7 minutes, but he is at least close. You can't fault him for that one. Alright, so with the exit of this room, we're going to be entering Summit, which you do, if you have been paying attention, you do actually have 2 dashes. You made it up with Battleline, and she has joined forces with you to climb this mountain, so she has given you another dash, essentially. So we're basically climbing all the way up from the mountain once more, but with 2 dashes this time. And this is the longest chapter of the room, hands down. So just one final marathon. Quick little death for Davesterio, and Kaizen does manage to get that level up. Dave having a bit of a trouble with this 0 meters so far. Alright, going to be utilizing Battle Line. She's going to be refreshing your dashes and boosting you up into the next section of the room, which will be 500 meters. It's basically just a redo of everything that you've gone through. So this is a homage kind of the first chapter, which was City. You do have these zipper blocks. I didn't really introduce them as well, but they are zipper blocks. And they are utilized a bit more than in chapter 1. Kaizen doing his best to catch up. Going to need a very much lack of deaths coming up here pretty soon if he wants to catch up to Dave. Dave not giving him any room to catch up here so far. Alright, moving that zipper block out of the way is going to open up this upper region, and he is on to 1,000 meters as Kaizen is on to 500 meters. So 1,000 meters, you do have these dream blocks once again. Going to be dashing through them. Again, you do not want to dash into a wall or you will die. Collecting those key blocks to get out of that room. Very solid routing by Dave. Playing it safe with that spring. You don't need that spring, but he is going to play that safe and just ensure that he can get through that room safely. Alright, solid stuff by Dave, and Kaizen just leaving that 500 meters just as Dave is leaving that 1,000 meters. They are about even on this 500 meters apart in real time, at least. Again, Dave did crash, so he's about a minute behind in game time. We do go off game time just because crashes can happen. Alright, 1500 is Resort. Can be one of the most challenging of Summit. Does have these cycles once again, and a lot of players not too big of a fan on these cycles. One mistake can spell death usually. Alright, Alright, Dave going for these triple ultra dashes, going for a lot of speed to skip over a lot of this stuff. Not quite fast enough to get past that Dust Bunny. Unfortunate. He does seem really stubborn with this trick though. He does manage to get it. Does allow Kaizen a little bit of an edge on him. Kaizen doing everything he can still to catch up. Davesterio on the final room of 1500. Just utilizing Battle Line to get all the way to the top and through this final area. Good stuff to Dave. Not a whole lot of deaths in 1500. That's usually what you want to go for. 2000 going to be entering on this ridge once more. And a short little skip here is going to be a path to a berry, but it is actually faster than taking that right route. Alright, wind once again, as well as the snowball, making this room not an easy task to get through. Alright, taking the bottom path is slightly faster by about a second or so, is going to save him some of that time. And another cutscene skip, just avoiding waiting on that platform, does manage to get it very fast. Good, very good by David. Nice. Kind of stuck waiting on this moving block though. Not too much you can do besides utilize this to save about 2 seconds. Kaizen has entered in that 2,000 meters as well. And Dave on that final room. Dave making it really hard for Kaizen to catch back up. Alright, Dave onto that 2,500. And Kaizen, good stuff by him getting through that room very easily. Not opting for the cutscene skip. Playing it safe, does not want to take a death here. And I don't blame him. That a death in that room does lose you out on a good 10 to 20 seconds. So a lot of time loss if you die. Gonna be doing the spike jump again to get this key. Good stuff by him. No deaths at all. Usually you are supposed to take that bottom path, but you can skip that with that little key skip. Alright, short little trick here to get through this little section here. Does take an unfortunate death. A very hard trick. You don't have very many pixels to get through that. So good stuff to David getting that. He does seem stubborn on this door skip. He wants it to happen. He does manage to get it second try. Very good. Alright, Kaizen leaving it on 2,000 meters. And Dave going to be going into this 3,000 meters. 3,000 meters, going to be utilizing these checkpoints that are given. They're usually very long rooms, so to combat this, the game designers did give us these checkpoints pretty much with these flags. Kaizen does not get his dash back, so he has to wait on that. Dave going for a hidden wall bounce here. Does manage to get it. Good stuff. Ooh, almost hitting those spikes. That was really close on Dave's part. Alright. I think that was a misinput. Didn't quite mean to dash straight up, but does manage to make it work. Notices that he's dead there, so a quick reset's going to get him back into the game as fast as he can. Kaizen getting that trick. Very good stuff to Kaizen. And does seem like he's opting for door skip as well. Not quite getting door skip. Very unfortunate for him. Very stubborn on this door skip. Alright. Dave going to be entering in this 14. That's where it starts to get a little bit more serious on the summit section. Long section here could spell disaster if he does die here. Gotta be getting these key blocks. Unfortunate death by Dave. That's going to be costing him some time, but at least he was in the middle of grabbing these key blocks. Does acquire the key blocks, and ooh, a little bit of a stutter there, but does manage to make it out okay. Alright, looks like Kaizen has also entered 3000. Taking that safety 10 just in case for a death here. Playing it really safe. I like it. Nice little death by Dave. Not going to be losing a whole lot of time there. Ooh, does miss the jump. Gonna have to fall back down. Losing him a good couple seconds there. Giving Kaizen a bit of an edge to catch up here. But at this point, I think it's safe to say, unless a fatal error by Dave occurs, I think he is in the clear to win this match. Right, taking this feather all the way down to 3. 3 does take some good concentration. It is very quick to die here. You do not want to die here because you do have to get through that tight little corridor there. Alright, on 2, and I think it's safe to say that he has this. Alright, very nice to Dave. Gonna be locking out that win very securely as well. Alright, a 38-20 by Dave. Good stuff by him. I believe that's only about 30-ish seconds off his PB, so a really nice race by Dave. Gonna be switching over to Kaizen here. All the focus is on him now. Alright. Kaizen on that wall jump area. Gonna be getting all the way over to this 13. Managing to get these key blocks. Does take an unfortunate death to that. A very unfortunate death by him. Does have to take a little bit of a breather. No problem at all. Alright, does manage to make it through that corridor. Taking that safety. 10. Good stuff to him. Very solid by Kaizen. Not taking death there. Very impressive. Alright, taking this battle line boost all the way up here. On to 6. Going to be riding this feather all the way to the top. And it does seem like we're going to be getting Dave in here pretty soon. Unfortunate death by Kaizen. Just missing that wall bounce. Hey, what's up, Dave?
Yo, what's going on, man?
Oh, no, it's going good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay, you know. Run had some ups and downs, but I'm just excited with the sub 40. You know.
Oh, very nice, man. Very nice. Yeah, 38-21. That's really good.
Yeah, 47 deaths. It's all right. Also, well, I guess I can say I had a crash during a race finally.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. Right off the bat, I think that was after chapter 1, wasn't it?
Yep.
That was very unfortunate, but oh well. You did manage to keep your head cool, and you finished with a good time as well.
Yeah, I think I had a ILP for old site, and Kaizen just finished up, I think, right?
Yes, he did finish with a 42.06.
Yo,
so that's a
GG's,
really good
man.
time for him. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I had an ILPB for old site, and
very nice.
My 3 was my 3 I feel like was the weak point of the run, but other than that, you know, it was fun. It was really fun.
Well, good stuff to you. Congrats on taking that win, man.
Thank you. Maybe we can get Kaizen in here?
Yeah, possibly. How are you feeling this part into the races?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I've got 2 matches left. They're not currently scheduled yet, but I mean, overall, like every race I've done, I've gotten sub 40. So if anything, that makes me feel pretty good. But now we're just gonna keep working and see what happens. Hopefully, make it into bracket play.
Very nice. So I'm gonna assume that you already did finish your races with people who did have timer or the time better than you.
Yeah, so the 2 losses that I currently have are against Oddbot and Hornlets, which I was kind of expecting to take those L's. So now that we've got those out of the way, we'll see what happens with the rest of the matches, you know?
You never know. Could be a surprise runner. Just getting an insane time. It does seem like we're going to be getting Kaizen in here as well.
And Kaizen had sub 50 deaths also. That's awesome. That's really good.
Yeah, low deaths for both of you. Congrats on that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Hello.
Hello, Kaizen. How are you feeling, man?
I am beyond tilted. And if that wasn't evident during the race, it should have been.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry to hear that,
It wasn't because I was losing. It was because I was, oh my god, there were moments I was like playing like a god. And then moments where I literally felt like I had an hour PB. It was, oh my god.
You were going very strong in the beginning. I think chapter 4 you started to fall behind a little bit. But other than that, yeah, your first 3 chapters were very strong actually.
Well, thank you. I actually felt very good about Summit up until about 2500 when I fell apart and decided to go for door skip 7 times.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Your Summit was really strong though. I have to agree. I did like your Summit.
But yo, GG Dave.
Yeah, man, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, dude.
Absolutely. Hopefully, I will see you outside of groups anyways. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And GG's again on like sub 50 deaths. We were just talking about that before you hopped in.
Oh wait, was I really? Oh yeah, yeah. I guess I did.
Yeah, very good stuff to you guys. I wish I could sub 50 this ever.
Oh, you will.
Oh, in time.
I gotta work on that.
Practice.
But yo, guys, I'm gonna be hopping out. Thanks again for the commentary, and Kaizen, it was awesome.
Same dude. And I will repeat the same sentiment. Thanks a lot for the commentary. Taggerson, I believe, right? Thank you very much for the commentary, and Dave for the race and speed gaming for letting us race.
All right. Well,
and
congrats again to both of you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Peace
that
out,
will
guys.
do it for this race. So
Bye-bye.
thanks everybody for stopping by, and we will see you another time.